Hello and welcome to Froch On Fighting with me, Carl the Cobra Froch.
And with me, Rachel Froch. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. What happened to your ever-growing intro that never seems to end?
What, Carl the Cobra Froch, former unified Super Middleweight world boxing champion, once fought in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley, and the International Boxing Hall of Famer, that one?
That's the one, yeah.
I thought I'd leave it alone because it's starting to upset people.
Well, you haven't now.
When do I ever worry about upsetting people? Don't forget to hit subscribe, like and share this video. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. This episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino.
So a few questions have been sent in for the question and answer today. Strictly boxing related.
As opposed to what? Something a little bit more fruity. I like the fruity questions.
It's just boxing today.
We don't go too fruity on this channel. Eyes on me, yeah? Come on, let's have the questions.
So what do you make of Queensbury and Frank Warren joining up with DAZN?
I think it's brilliant. Old Bricktop running the show, and he's shrewd. He was on Sky for a few years, then he moved over to Box Nation Satanta, which didn't quite go too well. And then he was on BT Sport, which got bought out by an American company. I don't know which company it was, but I think it's Comcast or someone, maybe not, but it became TNT. So he was with BT Sport stroke TNT for 7-8 years.
Gosh.
And now he's over with DAZN.
Wow.
What's happening to Hills? Old Eddie Hearn. Picking up the crumbs now, isn't it? I don't think he is, to be honest, but his main fighter now, Eddie Hearn, he's got, what's he got? He's got AJ.
Yeah.
Frank Warren's fighters keep beating his fighters, and he seems to, like, a lot of the fighters are signing now with Frank Warren. I'll tell you what, Frank Warren.
That's strange, isn't it? Oh, it's come kind of
It's
full
circle. He's been in the game for 4 decades.
Yeah, he's been around for years.
He knows the game inside out. And I think to answer your question, I think it's a good thing that the old Bricktop is working with DAZN. DAZN's a brilliant broadcaster. They know how to broadcast and promote boxing. They're great at the job. I've worked on their channel a few times and always enjoyed it. And yeah, I just think it's gonna mean that the fights are more likely to happen. So you have promotional divides, which also means usually a TV network divide. So you've got Sky Sports up against DAZN, up against BT Sports or TNT, where now, if Ben Shalom, I don't know what Ben Shalom, old Turkey Teeth Shalom, is he going to go over to DAZN as well?
Well,
where does that leave? It depends
this
how
is
long
going to become the central hub now of boxing.
Potentially, yeah. But to have Bricktop working with Hills and potentially Turkey Teeth Shalom all under one umbrella, all the promoters together with all the fighters, they can pick and choose the fights, they can all work together, and I think it is potentially a really good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Even though you've got Bricktop kind of running, he's the front runner, isn't he?
Yeah, well.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, definitely. So it's been confirmed AJ won't be fighting Dubois next. So who do you want Dubois to fight?
I think AJ took the Cobra's advice, didn't he? Do you remember a couple of weeks ago I said,
do remember, yeah.
I don't think Anthony Joshua should be stepping straight back in the ring with Dubois.
Maybe he's had a listen.
Listen, me and AJ are on talking terms. Contrary to what Hills says, me and Anthony Joshua, you know me and AJ are all right. Listen, don't need to bang on about that. It is what it is. We've got history, and I've got a lot of respect for the guy. He's a boxer, and he's done a lot for British boxing. His legacy is under question, and if he takes the Dubois fight and gets wiped out again like he did in the first one, where does he ultimately go then? Back-to-back defeats to the same guy who's young and fresh, 27-year-old Daniel Dubois, who can punch. Dangerous immediate rematch for AJ.
Yeah.
I think he's made the right decision. He's saying he's injured.
Yeah, okay.
So you have to take that for what it is. You have to take that face value. If he is injured, then hopefully, speedy recovery to him. But it just seems like it's very convenient that this fight's not happening, and he's going to have to sit back now and plan his comeback, because his comeback's going to be a tricky one. Because it's like, can he drop down to the level of sort of, I don't want to say drop down to Dillian White, but he's already beat Dillian White. Derek Chisora's still hanging around.
I don't think he really needs, with everything that he's done, does he really need to go down?
Well, the thing is, where do you go? Do you jump straight back in? Do you jump straight back in there with a world champion? He can't. Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury.
I think what you said originally,
Alexander
go
Usyk.
for the Tyson Fury fight.
Wait for that.
I think that is a huge, huge British fight. And I think if he was to win that, it would keep him on that kind of top-notch, like, pedestal.
I think if he
and then
wins
maybe then retire.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think he doesn't need to do anything else.
You took the words out of my mouth. If he can win that fight, he's retired on the crest of the wave, hasn't he? He's retired on a high. So that could be his move, and it could be a shrewd move. But hopefully he's not injured. So anyway, I digress, and I talked too much about Anthony Joshua because I got him on my head. But the question was, who next for Dubois?
Yes.
Now, Daniel Dubois, for me, he's not getting the immediate AJ rematch. You know what? I talked about it earlier this month. I think a Joseph Parker fight. He's bigger than Parker, naturally bigger. He punches hard on him, but Parker's on a couple of decent wins. Yeah, beat Zhang, he beat Deontay Wilder. they're good wins in good form. Do you know what I mean? He's looking like he's really getting his second win in his career. So if Dubois can beat Joseph Parker after the wipeout job against AJ, he really has established himself as a bona fide world champion.
Yeah.
So, and it's a fight that will be good because you never know because Parker's got all that. He's got bags of experience.
Yeah.
And he's boxing and moving well. He's super fit for 12 rounds, and he can punch a little bit as well. And he's tough.
Yeah.
So I think that's a tough fight for both guys, but a really, really intriguing one. I look forward to that.
Who do you make favourite in that fight?
Well, like I just said, I think Parker's got the experience and he's been in with some of the best fighters out there. He's got a good resume.
Yeah.
He's not won them all. AJ beat him, didn't he, early on in his career. But he's getting a second win. He seems to be performing. The Wilder and Zhang fight, I was very impressed with. I know Wilder's past his best. I think you'd have to say that Daniel Dubois is favourite because he's such a big puncher and he does get worn out. Parker is fit and strong, but he doesn't punch up there with the big boys. So he'd have to try and box a move and stay out of the way for 12 rounds. And with Daniel Dubois now having the confidence of the AJ win, and he's got that world title, that IBF title, I think if he puts the pressure on Parker after round 5, 6, if he takes it into the second half of the fight, starts closing in, he's got a good jab, Dubois, and he lands with that right hand, and that right hand's crushing. I just think the big guy beats the little guy in this instance. So it'd be a close fight, it'd be a great fight for both, a great fight for Daniel Dubois to get in there. It'd be a brilliant win on his resume, and I think he does win. I think even if it goes, imagine if it went the distance, it'd be close. No, I think Dubois wins. I'm not going to sit on the fence. I think Dubois beats Parker in a cracker. He probably gets him out of there.
So rank these middleweights in order: Roy Jones Jr., Joe Calzaghe, Richie Woodall, Steve Collins, and Chris Eubank.
Roy Jones fought at light heavyweight, super middleweight, and heavyweight actually. But as middleweights, if we're going to do that, I mean, Calzaghe spent his career at super middleweight, so I get the question now. Them 5 fighters. Roy Jones Jr., number 1, without doubt.
Yeah.
Even though Joe Calzaghe has a win over Roy Jones. Roy Jones was 41 years old. He'd already been beaten, well past his best, and still that was a close fight. And he flattened him in round 1. Flattened Joe Calzaghe in round 1. But you've got to put Roy Jones Jr. at number 1. He's like the ultimate fighting machine. Skill, speed, just ability, natural talent. But the speed, it's almost like he's cheating. It's like the Matrix. But he's number 1. And then you've got Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, and Steve Collins as well. So Steve Collins has beat Chris Eubank twice, beat Nigel Benn twice, both past the best. I think he gave Chris Eubank his first loss actually, but Eubank had 40-odd fights, I think. So even that was 40 fights. So Steve Collins, I love Steve Collins because he's like the Celtic Warrior. He's like a barman brawler. He's proper stand and have a fight. My kind of guy. You want him next to you, you know. On the cobbles, you want Steve Collins next to you. And he's a great guy as well. I've met him a few times. He's proper geezer, and he's got a lot of respect, a lot of love for the Cobra, let me tell you. It'd have been a tough fight for me. I'm not even going to pick a winner there. It'd have been a great fight. But would I put Steve Collins ahead of them two in their prime? I'd certainly put them in there, but it's difficult. I've got to put Steve Collins above Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn just because he beat both of them, even though they were both past the best.
Yeah.
So it's a bit unfair. I'm going to stick Eubank in front of Ben, but I'm a Eubank fan. And I love this style and his showmanship. So you've got Roy Jones at number 1.
Yeah.
I'm not spoken much about Calzaghe because Calzaghe deserves to be at the top anyway.
Yeah.
He beat Chris Eubank Jr., although Eubank Jr. was past his best. He dropped Eubank, I think, in round 1. That fight went 12 rounds. But that was Calzaghe's first real stiff test at that level. And he came through it and got the win. Eubank, fair play to him. He played his part, but he struggled to stay in there. He was hanging in there for 12 rounds. I think it went the distance. So yeah, Roy Jones Jr. Where's the Cobra in this lineup?
You're not involved.
Not in there. Roy Jones Jr.
You don't have to be in every one.
Joe Calzaghe. All right, rein it in. Supposed to be on my team. So Roy Jones Jr., Joe Calzaghe, Chris Eubank, Senior. No, I've got Collins above them too.
No, you have, yeah.
So I've got
Roy Jones Jr.
Go on, you tell me what I've got.
Have you got Roy Jones Jr., then you've got Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah. Then Steve Collins.
Then you've got Steve Collins. And then you've got Chris Eubank, and then you've got Richie Woodall.
I didn't even talk, you know what, I didn't even talk about Richie Woodall got left out of the mix.
Yeah.
Listen, my mate Richie Woodall, my old mate Richie Woodall, listen, what a guy, what a legend. I hope he can still get some more work with boxing now, TNT Sport, because I love listening to his commentary as well. I've worked with him at the IS, he's good friends with Ron McCracken. Richie Woodall, he wasn't quite at the races when his time came at world level, because he fought Joe Calzaghe, gave him a hell of a fight. Big stand-up southpaw, counter-puncher, and he's just not quite at that elite level at world class. He won't mind me for saying that, but when he got his opportunity with Calzaghe, he was well past his best, and the desire was gone.
Okay.
So Richie Woodhall, he's at the bottom of he's at the back of the list, isn't he?
It's all right.
Unfortunately.
In good company.
Real good company, yeah. So all of what I said. So Roy Jones, Collins, Eubank, Ben.
No, you've missed Calzaghe in there.
Yeah, I've got a mind blank with Joe Calzaghe for some reason. Joe Calzaghe's up there, but he's not number one, is he? And then Richie Woodhall at the back of the queue, but with great company. Good question.
So, what did you make of Joe Cordina's comments about finding out on Instagram that his fight with Shakira Stevenson was cancelled?
Shakur Stevenson, what a fighter, top fighter in America.
Sorry, do you want me to do that again?
No, you sound like Shakira. It was good. I quite like that name. Sounded good.
Shakira.
No, listen, Shakur Stevenson. Listen, we're laughing, but this is no laughing matter.
That's terrible.
Joe
actually.
Cordina found out on Instagram
disgusting.
that he's not fighting Shakur Stevenson. How does that even work? I mean, he's done an interview. I don't know if you've seen it, but
Talk about lack of respect.
he was at a show and he's asking Frank Smith, who's basically Eddie Hearn's like wingman in the boxing game.
But he doesn't make the decisions, does
No,
he?
he don't make decisions. No, obviously, ultimately, he used to make the tea. That's what he used to do. And now he's up there in Mac's room with him, doing the I don't know what he does with the boxing. Eddie Hills makes all the decisions. So for Joe Cordina to see Frank at the show and Frank say, "Well, you don't call me," like he's been saying to Eddie, "Look, what's going off?" And they're like, "Well, you don't talk to me. I've not heard from you. You're supposed to ring me when you lose a fight." You expect a phone call or conversation with your promoter to say,
how
"Bad
are
luck.
you? Are you okay?"
Commiserations. We're going to route a plan back. So something's obviously broken down. But first of all, the fact that Frank Smith's got nothing to say to him and Eddie Hearn's not even talking to him, it's absolutely disgusting. It's fucking wrong on every level. Should be ashamed of himself. This is a guy who was unbeaten until he fought Kakashi. Then he got knocked out in a round. He was dead at the weight as well. He struggled to that weight, so he wants to move up a weight. Maybe it's because he's parted ways with his trainer, Tony Sims. And Tony Sims and Hills are quite good friends.
Right, okay. So
with that breaking
potentially...
down, they maybe shut him down. But if he's under contract with Matchroom, you'd expect them to treat the fighters better. You've got Joe Cordina finding out on social media that Shakur Stevenson fights off, and that's a tough fight for him.
So strange.
But he was brave, and that was his comeback fight. And then he sees Frank Smith at the show and he's like, "Oh, you don't talk to us." It's like, well, hang on a minute. It's your job to get me fights and present me with opportunities. So they've obviously just ghosting him. But I know how that feels. You know what I mean? With promoters, when you needed, your phone rings 55 times, as you know. I've been a few times when my phone's rung off the hook. And then when you've expired your shelf life and you're finished, they're on to the next one. They're not interested. But Joe Cordina's 32 years old. He's had one defeat. That Shakur Stevenson was a big fight for him, big opportunity. Now he's sitting around waiting. Like I've said, absolute disgrace. It's strange. It's disgusting.
Can he not go with someone else then?
I don't know what his contract is.
As we said previously, Frank Warren's getting all the fighters at the moment, getting the fights.
Potentially.
Can he not move over to someone else who can get him?
Well, listen, it's whatever your contract's to. But he'll have contractual obligations as well. His promoter will match for him. So they've got to present him with opportunities and do a job for him.
Otherwise,
he's got to trade, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course.
So there'll be something. I mean, just to listen to Joe Cordina.
It's sad.
And he's a nice kid. I used to work with him a little bit at the England squad. Rob McCracken looked after because he boxed for Great Britain on Team GB up in Sheffield. And yeah, that's just wrong on every level. And to listen to him speak, I'm just pissed off, as you can probably tell in my voice. Eddie Hearn, sort your shit out. Should be ashamed of yourself. Joe Cordina deserves to be treated better, as far as I'm concerned.
So what are you planning for the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight?
We're planning, I don't know. Am I allowed out? She did that because she knows I can do what I want, when I want.
We've already talked about this though,
yeah, haven't we?
after you've asked me.
All right.
That's been done before.
All right, boss. Let them think they're winning, yeah. Happy life, happy wife and all that. What was I going to say?
What are you doing for it?
Mike Tyson,
are you watching
I don't know. I might. Do I do a Froch along? Do I do a live stream? Watch it and talk about it, maybe.
It's
Mike Tyson, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Mike Tyson, but I just feel sorry for him. I don't know why. Why do I feel sorry for him?
You've seen him fight a few times. I've showed you a lot of clips.
Yeah, it's just such an iconic name in boxing he's a fit.
Are you thinking you don't want to see him lose to someone
I don't
like
want to. No, but he
Jake
is.
Paul.
He's 26. He's fit. has he got that puncher's chance against Mike Tyson?
Yeah,
and I think that's why I feel sorry for Mike Tyson. I don't know. I just don't want to see him fall.
No, I've said it many times before. Jake Paul cannot box. He's not a pugilist. He swings away. He's absolutely fucking useless. But he's a young man. What is he? 27 years old. He's around his mid-20s. Just he's in his prime pretty much as a man, and he's training every day, and he's fit and he's strong because of the fact that he's in the gym.
And because he's young now as well.
So he can throw a punch. He can't box. If he goes in against a professional fight, we've seen what happened. He lost Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is area level, which means he wouldn't win a British title right now. And he beat Jake Paul, who's now going to say, oh, I beat Mike Tyson. I think he beats Mike Tyson. I think he's going to be too young, fit and fresh. Father Time waits for no one, as I've said before. Mike Tyson will be 58 years old by the time he steps in the ring. He retired in his 40s, early 40s, and that was too late for retirement. He boxed on far too long, and he was getting on for 20 years ago, he retired. So why is he fighting now? He's fighting now for the money and for a bit more fame and whatever. But Mike Tyson, he does all right. He'll always make money because it's who he is. He's
I've listened to him on the YouTube and all the podcasts, and he comes across really well. I think people enjoy listening to him.
He wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
He lost his daughter, unfortunately, which was tragic. Yeah. And that's deeply ingrained in his soul, and that hurts him, which it would do. And he's got no reason for me to be in the boxing ring because he's too old. He can fight. Everyone would love him to catch Jake Paul clean on the chin in round one. But in my opinion, I honestly think that there'll be something in the contract that means he can't go for it in round one or round two. And if the longer the fight goes, the more money he'll get paid. But if he goes for it and tries to win early doors, he won't get paid. That's allegedly, that's what I've heard, that's the words I've heard around the campfire. Okay. The contracts are all stitched up. So it's why it's called...
And isn't that his best chance? Round one, round two, when he's fresh.
Yeah, Mike Tyson comes out and just goes for it and swings away. So listen, I just feel that Mike Tyson, and you feel sorry for him, which you've said, and the reason is because he shouldn't be in there with a young man. And if he gets knocked out, if he gets badly hurt, or even not even badly hurt, if he just gets KO'd, he's getting KO'd by a geezer who used to be a TikTok dancer who can't box because he shouldn't be in there. Yeah. And you feel like he's half going to take a dive, half going to take one on the chin for the team, get the old Bunsen burner. And does Mike Tyson really need to be jumping in there with fake Paul, a fucking idiot, to make more money?
Yeah, no.
It's just a shame that it's come to this.
Yeah.
It'd be absolutely fantastic if Tyson goes in there and puts a whooping up and lands a couple of shots, and that's probably half the sell. People are going to buy it thinking, oh, what if Mike Tyson catches him? But the reality is, I don't think he's going to be allowed to catch him. I think it's going to be a one-sided whooping. And Jake Paul's going to beat him probably in 4 or 5 rounds because Mike Tyson will get absolutely knackered and probably fall over. So what do I think of the fight? I think it's a disgrace. Listen, they're all making money. I've got no problem with Jake Paul making money. He's got his teeny bopper demographic audience that buy into his bullshit and think he's the best thing since sliced bread, drinking that fucking poison, that prime bullshit with the drink that's fucking horrible. But what a marketing genius that was. Yeah. I think it's more his brother than him. But still, the fight shouldn't be happening, and it's bad for boxing.
So you do think Jake Paul will beat Mike Tyson?
I do, yeah. I think everything's going to be geared towards Jake Paul beating him. He can't risk losing to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's an old man. Don't matter that he was once a legend in the game and an iconic world champion, world heavyweight champ. He's finished. He's an old man. No professional boxer, anybody who loves boxing, any boxing purist, is taking this fight seriously at all. They all just think it's a big joke. But like I said, Jake Paul's got his demographic, he's got his audience, he's got millions of fans. They're going to tune into this bullshit.
So as AJ said he's injured, who should his next fight be?
Anthony Joshua's injured, next fight he should be... I don't think he should be fighting, to be honest. You can't chuck him in there with Joseph Parker. I think Joseph Parker's flying. I know Parker's fighting Dubois next, so that's off anyway. And you've got people like Martin Bakole, who's really, really good skillful boxer and can punch. Caballel, people like that, you can't risk. You can't risk AJ with somebody like that, them who can punch. I think Joseph Parker gives him a nightmare because of the wins he's on and the role he's on. AJ is in a really, really sticky position. He needs to sit back and wait, do nothing, and try and cash out. Try and get one last payday. That's it. Otherwise, just don't fight anymore. Just turn it in and accept your defeat. You've had an unbelievable career. Yeah. Absolutely smashed it on the money front. Financially, you've smashed it. But if you're talking about legacy and Hall of Fame and them kind of accolades, then I'm not having a go at him. He's not there.
But as a fighter,
listen, I'd want to fight
that
on.
win?
Of course you do. But
you don't want to go out. You don't want to go out, and you don't want to finish.
When I beat Groves in that first fight, because the way it got received, and because everyone was bitching and moaning about the stoppage, then I needed the rematch.
You wanted it.
Yeah, and I wanted to set the records and make sure I got it done. But AJ ain't made of that kind of stuff that I'm made of. When he got the rematch with Ruiz, he got knocked out and fucking slapped about the ring against Ruiz. Madison Square Garden in New York. I was there when he got absolutely tumped upside the head. He did the funny dance and got battered. And his soul left and walked off. You know what I mean? He was gone. He came back and he won on points, ran and held and kept out of the way and safety first, shit himself and got his belts back. To me, where's your pride? Get in there, beat up the little fat man who beat you up.
Yeah, but
and he never did
he's
it.
tentative.
Yeah, well,
After that one, he's been tentative.
He has been tentative. He's been pistol whipped and he's been just like knocked back and he's going in the ring with tail between his legs as if like I'm a bit unsure now. I'm a bit, you know what I mean? I'm not confident.
But I think he's had to, hasn't he?
Well, you had to, because if it's in the soul and your heart and you're a fighter, you go in there and you fucking rip it up. I lost to Mikhail Kessler, came back and battered Arthur Abraham.
Yeah, but you can take a shot. He can't take a shot.
No, but it's not about taking. Yeah, it is taking the shot, but it's about the mindset and the heart.
Yeah.
When he fought Ruiz, he didn't show any ambition. It didn't look right. He lost twice to Usyk. Okay, he was in the fight for moments, but over 24 rounds, he didn't win many rounds.
No.
So he got outclassed really twice, and then he gets absolutely battered by Daniel Dubois. He was already had his losses to Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk.
Yeah.
And, you know, he showed his sort of limitations at that level. He's still growing, 27, he'll get better and he'll improve. But the landscape changes and Dubois might just be the future kingpin in this division.
So you think he should really wait?
I think Anthony Joshua should retire from boxing. Because we box, we're prize fighters, we box for money. We box to earn money. When you've got enough money, why are you going to take one more jab in the face or the head, the brain that could cause damage, even in sparring? 10-ounce gloves with these big heavyweights punching the side of the head, racking your brain around your skull. What is the point? Because no amount of money is going to repair a damaged brains, is it? No. If you're neurologically injured, there's no repairing, there's no walking away from it.
No.
So why take the shots? Because you're doing it for money. So unless he really, really wants to try and secure his legacy and redeem himself and come back at the top, he's got to go and have some ayahuasca. Maybe not now. I think he tried that. Deontay Wilder tried that.
Look what happens to him.
He needs to change his mindset and come back with a fresh look. But at 35 years old, unfortunately, I think the ship sailed. He's had a fantastic career money-wise. Yeah. His legacy's not there, but he'll always remembered for a guy that changed the face of boxing.
Definitely.
Following on from the Cobra, I set the bar. I raised the bar at Wembley Stadium. I was the first to do it, don't forget. I was the guy that sold that one. Me and George Groves, he deserves his respect. But I went out on the high at Wembley Stadium and then the rest followed. And AJ took stadium fight and made them normal.
Yeah.
Fought once, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at stadiums between England and Cardiff, and you know, then he went out to Saudi. And you've got to give him his props.
Yeah, but that's probably what he wants to do.
Yeah.
One last one to go.
Well, you would do. Listen, if you're proud of the sport and you're proud of yourself, you're not going to want to go out on a loss. No. But a lot of top fighters do go out on losses. Unfortunately, the fight on too long. That's where I escaped it.
Yeah.
I retired on the crest of the wave.
Yeah.
He was talking about himself again. Listen, I could have boxed on again. I could have boxed on for another 2 or 3 more fights.
Yeah.
Might not have gone well. I'd have made a few more quid. I'm not a greedy guy.
Your head wasn't in it though.
No, the desire was gone. I talked about Richie Woodward earlier. He was one of the guys that said to me, when the desire's gone, you'll know.
Yeah.
I think the desire has left Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
It's gone. And it's easy for people to say, oh, he's beating up AJ again, he's giving him stick. I'm not giving him stick. I'm not an AJ hater. I messaged AJ because he's injured.
Yeah. And
I've touched base and asked him, how are you doing? How's the injury?
Yeah.
So, you know, we keep in touch. There's nothing. I've got his best interest at heart. I'm not making any money off him.
No, exactly.
I stand to gain nothing, and it's actually better if the titles remain in Britain.
Yeah.
But we've got Daniel Dubois, the IBF champ now.
Yeah.
We need Tyson Fury to do the business against Usyk. I think he can do it. I don't think he will. It can be done. It's boxing. It's a 2-horse race. Anyone can win. But Anthony Joshua is in a really, really sticky position. If he retires, how's his head going to hit the pillow every night? Is he contented with that? You know what I mean?
Well, he should be.
Yeah, well, from a warrior's point of view and somebody who's, like I said earlier, in the Hall of Fame, I like my name to live on in.
Yeah, I know, but
I want people to speak about me in a high regard. Carl Froch will fight anybody. Yeah. He took on all corners. He didn't win them all, but he came back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to lose your last fight
and
get dismissed and battered like he did against a young up-and-comer, that would have been like me getting battered by Groves and flattened, face first, arse in the air, and then never fighting again. And that's what people are going to remember me for. You know what I mean, there's loads of fighters that lost the end of the career for more money.
Yeah.
AJ don't need to do that. I mean, if he retires now, that'll be it. So I understand him maybe wanting to fight again to try and redeem himself, but he's got to be very, very careful who he fights. He's got to be very clever with his fight selection.
Yeah.
And Eddie Hills, aka Eddie Hearn, is going to want to cash him out for as much Bunsen burner as possible because he knows the shelf life is nearly expired, which is what we talked about earlier. It won't be long before he's not picking the phone call up to Anthony Joshua, unfortunately. AJ's got a real decision to make as to where he wants his future to go, because if he goes in again and gets battered and that is definitely the end of him, then how's that going to sit with his soul and his mind for the rest of his life? I think it's the Tyson Fury fight.
Yeah.
Go out on your shield.
Yeah.
Win or lose. Give the fans a great fight, and all British are fair.
Yeah.
So wait and see what Tyson Fury does against Usyk. But anyway, are we done?
We're done. That's it.
That's it then. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
We'll just sit here and stare at each other. Love is in the air. We'll play a little.
Don't we always do that?
Everywhere I look around. That's a bit bad. I'm usually a really good singer. I'm a lyrics man, but the music came naturally, so. You'd think she'd be bored of me, but she's not. She loves the Cobra.
Was that not a look of boredom?
Oh, thanks.
So, last question then. What have you enjoyed most about starting your YouTube and podcast?
I'll tell you what I've enjoyed most. Being able to be independent and my voice belongs to me.
Yeah.
And you. But Froch On Fighting, that's me, Froch On Fighting. So I'm talking about fighting. And people want to listen to me. So the feeling of being wanted to be heard, it just gives me, it's like, it validates my voice and my opinion. And I always thought I'd had a great voice in boxing. I always thought that the broadcasters should pay me. I mean, I was with Sky for a long time.
I love listening to myself.
I've worked on, me. I've been on Sky for a few years, had a great career with them. They looked after me, it was brilliant. Such a fantastic time after I finished boxing. Then I've been on BBC 5 Live, I've been on TalkSport. I'm still on TalkSport really, but I don't do a great deal. I've done a few gigs on BT Sport and on DAZN when Lee Woods boxed and that. And I enjoy all of it, but you don't get many minutes in front of the camera, you don't get heard much, you don't get to say much. People drive narratives, and there's also political agendas, which I spoke about before. And I don't like going along with bullshit. I really don't. I like to be able to speak my truth, and if you don't like it, then tell me, don't watch the channel. Do you know what I mean? But I'm gonna always be myself. And to be on this channel and to be accepted and to have over 130,000 followers within a year, and it's now monetized, and it's not about the money, you know yourself. I did this because I wanted to remain in the sport and still have an opinion. And obviously the people watching and listening, they enjoy it because they keep tuning in and they're subscribing. So what do I like most about it? I like the fact that I'm able to set up and speak about boxing and still have a voice, a massive prominent voice within the boxing, because this channel is probably, it's up there. I think it is. I say it is. It's the most viewed boxing channel in the business. When my average views far outweigh people that have been doing it for 10, 15 years that have nearly 1 million subscribers. People listen to me because I speak the truth and they like what I say. So thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. It does help. But yeah, I like that. And part of that, which I think you're going to say, because I was going to say to you, what do you enjoy most about it, is the comments. The comments.
Yes, yeah, we like to listen. We like to read them and see what people think.
Some of the comments are so nice, though.
Yeah, they are. It makes you feel
so
good.
endearing, and they talk about me and you. They talk about you, and they give nice comments. I'm not talking about the fruity ones. I'm talking about people that say, "Oh, you know what? Husband and wife together, really nice." Or what a nice guy Froch is. I didn't really get him when he was boxing. I thought he was an arrogant prick. Well, you weren't wrong. But there's also a nice side to this arrogant prick. Something a little bit different. And when you can speak so long in front of the camera, like I've been waffling now for 2 minutes, you get to know the person a little bit better. You get to know the character, you get to know the personality of the guy. And people are starting to understand my humour, starting to get how passionate I am about the sport, how I'm quite anti-establishment. I don't like being fucking told what to do. I don't like authority. Don't tell me I can't do something, because I'm going to go and fucking do it straight away.
From me.
Yeah, well, listen. You keep me in check, don't you? She reins me in quite a lot. You have done. I mean, I'm a different person now to when I was fighting and before I met you. But no, I love it, and I think you enjoy a lot of the comments, don't you? You get a lot of love from
It's nice to spend time with you doing this.
Yeah, it's brushes up all right as well, doesn't she?
So that's it for another episode of Froch On Fighting. Thanks very much for watching.
Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. We're almost the front runners. We're up there with the top sports channel, not just boxing. All them amazing football channels that are out there as well. We're up there. We're always up there or thereabouts in the top 15, top 20, which is brilliant. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving your comments. Give us a 5-star review. You know we deserve it. We're passionate about this game. But yeah, if you haven't already, hit subscribe and we shall see you very soon.